This is Daddy Show. Step off.
It's time for the main event.
Hey, what is up? Welcome back to the program, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tom Clark, and this right here is Tom Clark's Main Event. What's up, kids? I don't have the timing yet. Can you tell that I don't have the timing yet? I don't know if I want to stretch the show and make, not the show, but the intro and make it perhaps longer. I'm contemplating it. It's already 40 seconds, which is probably way too long for a show intro. But I like them long, you know what I mean? This real quick, hoo-ha, in and out, I'm not with that. My hand's digitizing. I don't have a green screen behind me here at my office. So we're making do, baby. How's everybody out there? Happy Friday to you, one and all. Hope you guys are doing great. Do me a favor before we get cranking here today. Smash that like button for me. It means loads to me. Let's get that done, please, and thank you. This is episode number 301 of the podcast. As you saw in the intro, established 2014. You guys like the intro? You can be honest. But if any of you say you hate it, you're out of here. I'm kidding. Do you guys dig it? Because I really dig it. I like the music. I dig the intro. I like the production stamps. I think it's pretty cool. So what do you guys think? Smash the like button for me there, kids, if you will. It'd mean a lot to me. Thank you much. And share this stream on your Facebook page. That would also be freaking awesome. I want to talk a minute before we get cranking here today about last week's episode. As you guys know, last week we celebrated episode 300. I want to thank everybody for tuning in for that. I also want to thank Phil Lindsay for showing up. Phil is my brother in arms for the 6M podcast and also for the main event at times. Phil's a great dude. You should always check him out on Bleacher Report and Grapsity. He's killing it. And of course, I am honored to have him on the 6M. Every time we record, it's always fun. I always come away from recording with Phil feeling like that we did something good. So that's pretty cool. I also want to thank Christopher Ray Patton, CRP, for joining me on the show last week. That was pretty cool as well. All I had to do was send the invite and dude was there. So that's pretty cool of him. So thanks, Chris, for joining. And also, you see what I just did? I have one of those elevated tables, the lift. You know what I mean? Sometimes a man's got to stand up, baby. What can I tell you? But I also want to thank, of course, Ray all day and Sandy from Germany for hanging out, for coming on the show last week, for being the super fans that they are. You guys are awesome. You're the best of all time. So I very much appreciate it. Thank you again. I didn't really get to go into great detail last week because I didn't want to get all emotional with you kids. But thanks a lot for hanging on. I appreciate you very much. I love doing this. I love podcasting with this and counting today and counting the 6M. This is 433 episodes now in the can for yours truly. There's been other shows I've done through the years, but none of them add up to anywhere close to even 50, I don't think. Maybe not even 30. So I'm just counting the 6M in the main event. So again, thanks everybody for downloading, subscribing, for liking. I very much appreciate it. Robbie, what's going on? How are you, my friend? Ron, what's up? How are you? Will, good to see you. Where are you? My family's good, dude. Hope yours is as well. Sugar Shane, how's it going? Happy Mario Day, Brendan says. Yes, sir. Carlos, what's going on? Ray all day is here. E being pushy as always. That's okay. Cherie, how are you doing? Good to see you. There we go. Scissors going to be on TV tonight on Rampage. Nice. Did you get on camera? Do you know if you got on camera? Oh, when the BCC made it. Nice. Hey, can you screenshot and then post that to your page? That would be cool. Tag me in it. That's cool. Awesome. Chris with a K. What's going on, my friend? How are you? I'm doing good. Hope you are. Ray's already giving Marie some nonsense back and forth. Wilf, what's going on, dude? Good to see you. Ron says you like the music. Yeah, it's, the whole vibe I was going with the last, version of the show intro was the 80s pro wrestling show. That's the only thing it was. It was never meant to be good. if that makes sense. It was always meant to be cornball. It was always meant to be dated. It was always meant to be of its time, which is 1980s pro wrestling. So that's what all that's from. I think I've explained that here on the show, but in case I hadn't, in case a lot of you have heard it, there you go. Josh, how you doing, my friend? Gary, what's up? Folks, please welcome HVW owner promoter to the show, Mr. Gary Benfield. Eric, what's dude, I'm very well, thank you. I got the COVID in the beginning of February, and it was gnarly. Thank you, Chad Too Bad. You're awesome, brother. Thank you. Hello, Liam. How are you, my friend, from across the pond? You're in Scotland, yes? Yeah? I have that right, don't I? Thank you, Maria. I appreciate it. It's a big undertaking, as you know. You'll get there one day. Just keep plowing ahead. Chris, how you doing? Jumping Jeff. It's okay, brother. It's been recorded, so you can always catch it. And if you subscribe to the show, kids, as you know, you get the audio version downloaded to the device of your choosing. Anytime you want to hear it, it's in the archives, as we say. So there you go. Ray, my kid's doing fine, dude. I just took him to the trampoline park. He's hanging out with a friend of his. So there you go. Let's see. And we have a spammer. You are gone, my friend. And you're probably a bot anyway. So there you go. You're out of here. Sometimes that's fun to do. Alma, how are you doing? Good to see you. Tim, what's up, my friend? All right, folks, before we really get cranking again, if you will, smash the like button. I would very much appreciate it. You guys are the best of all time. No, dude, it's coming down. I can't stand it. This is not my look. It's not my look. It's freaking out of control. It's got a life of its own. I can't stand it. So, no, it has to go away. It's going to go away. I promise you that. I can't stand it, dude. It's getting on my nerves. You know, when you look down at your plate and there's hair and it didn't come from the waitress, it came from your beard, it's time. Do you know what I mean? It's way past time. So it is what it is. Montrese, you have not hung out on the show in forever. I've been watching your kid as he grows up. That sounds all stalky, doesn't it? You notice under my name, it says talkie, not stalky. So I don't mean that weird, but that kid's awesome, man. The kid's awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out today. Chris with a K says, if I remember a week ago, so the family member of mine just got cut. Yeah, it sucks, man. If any of you have had it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. What's up, Eric Jackson? How you doing, man? Oh, that's right. I did see that you were expecting baby number 2 in June. Number 2. Congratulations. That's awesome. Good for you. Do we know? Oh, you said a girl. Okay. I was getting ready to ask you. That shows you how I don't read the full comment. I try, but sometimes I get so amped up. I'm like, oh. By the way, I've told you guys I'm glitching a bit. I don't have a green screen behind me, so I've just got the digitized background. So if you see suddenly my arms disappear, various different body parts are gone, I've not been dusted. Thanos is not here. Where's my hand? I'm trying for... There it is. I'm looking like the Mandarin these days. Have you noticed? Hey, baby, I still got four more. You know what I mean? The guns. You know what I mean? I got to get this, man. I guess what I got to do. All right. Let's get into this. Montrese, we're just going to leave your comment up all day. Is that okay? We got our welcome out of the way. Welcome, in case I haven't said it. Again, folks, smash the like button. If you haven't done so, please do so, and I'll try not to bother you about it anymore if I can help it. Let's talk about AEW Revolution. Who watched the show last week? This is some creamy AEW goodness, wasn't it? I thoroughly enjoyed myself. What a very, very good show that was. What a great show, if I am so inclined to say. What a show, man. What a great time that was watching that. That was truly epic. I really thoroughly enjoyed that. I want to get your guys' comments. Let me know what you guys think about it. Chris with a K talking about Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Yeah, we're going to get there. I'm a huge fan of that storyline. It's the best thing that company has going besides Cody. by far, and I think they're doing fantastic with it. I think it's excellent, honestly. Excellent. CRP in the house. Brother, I thanked you at the beginning of this show for last week. So thank you again now that you're here for tagging along, dude. That was really fun last week. Hope you had fun. Yep, Cherie, well done. Yep, you're right, 100%. Let's see. It was a great pay-per-view. I agree. I really, really enjoyed it. He's heading back home from Denver. Safe travels to you, my friend. Yeah. So what else you guys thinking about this show? What was your favorite match? Let's run down the card here since we had already previewed it previously. Let's talk about it, and we'll go through the results. And bam. Mark Briscoe and the Lucha Brothers. Was that a fun match or what? 6-man tag. Defeated Ari Daivari and the Varsity Athletes. Really fun match. Ricky Starks. Here's the fun bit about this company. Not all the time, not every time, but a lot of the times when a certain guy has to win, that guy typically wins. Not every time, not all the time, but a lot of the time. We said it here on the show last week on episode number 300, kids, that certain people, we felt like it was a must-win situation for them last week on the show. We said it multiple times. Well, guess what? Ricky Starks really, really needed to beat Chris Jericho. Well, what happened? He really beat Chris Jericho. Jungle Boy really needed to defeat Christian Cage. Well, guess what? He really defeated Christian Cage, and everybody here called it. It was a final burial match. We said the House O Black really needed to defeat the Elite and become the new 6-man tag team champions, or the trios champions, whatever you want to call it. And guess what? They really defeated the Elite. Jamie Hayter, we believed, would retain the women's championship. That happened. Hangman Page really needed to beat Jon Moxley in a Texas Death Match, and he really did do so. Wardlow really needed to beat, you see a trend? Wardlow really needed to beat Samoa Joe for the AEW TNT Championship. And guess what? That's exactly what he did. All of these things happen because they should have happened, because they needed to happen, because the right guys won. The Guns in a 4-way tag team match, in a match that I'm sure a lot of people thought wasn't going to be worth anything. But I think we did say on the show last week it was probably going to be a fun match, right? They retained the AEW World Tag Team Championships against the Acclaimed, Lethal and Jarrett, and Orange Cassidy and Danhausen. And, of course, in the 60-minute Iron Man match, and it was a true 60 minutes, by the way, none of that manipulating the clock nonsense that other companies do. MJF defeated Bryan Danielson 4-3 in sudden death overtime. Excellent show. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. Let's go up through the comments here. Liam says, brilliant pay-per-view. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Brino, what's going on, brother? How are you? Good to see you too, my friend. Tim says, how about the post-show to the pay-per-view match? Wasn't that amazing? Dude, MJF is just gold. And I want you guys to think about something. A lot of you may think I'm a little nutsy when I say this, but I want you to think about something. MJF is happening in your time. MJF didn't happen 30 years ago. It didn't happen before you were born. And I'm not suggesting, please don't misunderstand me. I'm not suggesting one day we'll talk about MJF like we talk about, Gorgeous George. But I'm also not suggesting that we won't. But it's happening in your time. Wrap your head around that. You get to see this as it happens. And one day when they write the book on the greatest professional wrestling heels of all time, MJF's name will be in that book. That's how I feel. CRP says, thanks for having me. It was a ton of fun. Liked the pay-per-view a lot. It exceeded my expectations. I didn't like a lot of the builds headed into it. The matches were great. Dude, they deliver. Like Impact Wrestling, to be honest with you, a lot of Impact's week-to-week TV I don't really care a lot about, but their pay-per-views typically deliver, like a lot of the time. So I kind of, that's where I'm at with AEW. And honestly, I didn't hate any of the builds here. Some of them were a little rushed or whatnot. It is what it is, but I really enjoyed it, actually. Chad, too bad says I heard TK had to have a talk with MJF after the young fan incident. Me and Phil Lindsay were talking about that after, or it was either before or after we recorded the 6M this past Thursday, and talked about how, did he go too far? I mean, chances are he thought there was water in that cup, and turns out it was tequila, supposedly, right? So, I don't know, man. It's one of those things where it's like, he's a heel. And here's something I said to Phil, and I'm going to stick to this, honestly. And I know some people may disagree with me, and that's fine, right? But from where I'm sitting, wrestling fans have gotten way too comfortable putting their hands on wrestlers. Now, whose fault is that? That's the company's fault, number one, because they allow the talent to go into the crowd and fight. They allow talent entrances and exits to and from the ring through the crowd. But once upon a time, you could not touch the wrestlers. In fact, in HVW, at the beginning of every show, there's a sound announcement that comes on, a pre-recorded voice. It's me saying, please do not touch the wrestlers. Don't make physical contact, because it's not cool. It's not cool. You touch the wrong guy in the heat of the moment, that guy's liable to turn around. And remember the time that Punk was in the audience and somebody was grabbing him from behind, and listen, not defending him, but instinct, he turned around and threw an elbow. And then went after, look, I'm not defending anything, but you touch a pro wrestler in the heat of the moment, something bad could happen. That's not what happened here. I'm just trying to illustrate a point that we've gotten way too comfortable. We, meaning the fans and these companies, way too comfortable having fans that close to talent. It's just weird. It's just weird, man. And I don't, it is what it is. It is what it is. I mean, probably not going to change it now, but I would think that hopefully at this point, there's a locker room talk. There's like, hey guys, you can't do this kind of thing. It is what it is. Chris with a K says, I've got to go now. Oh, well, brother, thanks for hanging out. Didn't hang out very long, did he? Sure says you got to meet him. You hate it happened to him, right? But man, has he got a story. Did he have a story to tell at school that Monday or what? To any of his boys that are wrestling fans, he got a great story to tell. He's like, go watch that pay-per-view. Look what happened to me. But look what I got. I got autographs. I got free shirts. I got a free whatever. I got tickets to the next show. Are you kidding me? That's good stuff. Ray, good call about Ruby turning heel. What's up, Victor? I love that soundbite, dude. Ray all day says MJF best heel he's ever seen. There you go. Alma says match of the night, MJF versus Danielson. The heel time of Ruby Soho, didn't expect it. Yeah. Well, Ray warned you, didn't he? Carlos says the match might be so easy to predict once the sports betting thing starts. Yeah, we'll see. It's pro wrestling. What are we betting on? What are we doing? What are we doing? This is not an NBA game. It's not NFL. What are we doing? Robbie says something to think about. Daniel mentioned he was done. We don't know if he will or won't yet. Do you think it's better for a wrestler into the career on a win or a loss? Robbie, excellent question. I am old school when it comes to pro wrestlers, how they go out. And this is just one guy's opinion. You kids can take it or you can leave it. It's totally up to you. My way of thinking has always been a wrestler goes out on his shield. That's how it happens. You go out on your back. You go out the right way. It's something that Undertaker, we thought he did when he handed it to Roman, and then he didn't do it. He came back. That's weird to me. Like when he went out that way, what was he? Didn't he leave his boots in the ring and his hat and his coat? It's over. Well, guess what? It wasn't over. Money, 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 money. I'm saying, whatever. So in my opinion, you go out on your shield because it's not about you. It's about the company. Does that happen for all wrestlers? Do all wrestlers do that? No, they don't. But, Sugar Shane says, just my opinion, but if MJF is in the book of the greatest heels, he's going to be in the back of the book. He can't touch Eddie Gill. Well, I mean, Shane, how many more years does this guy have? How many more years does this guy have? 20? This guy's got a long way to go, dude. He's got a long way to go. I see your point. But I want you guys to think about something, dude. He is 26 years old. 26 years old is Maxwell Jacob Friedman. He's got 20 more years of this if he chooses to stay in it that long. Honestly, maybe we've seen nothing yet. CRP says company did a great job with taking care of the fan after the fact. Yeah, for sure. For sure. No doubt about it. Written statement from South Carolina we have to read a written statement here in South Carolina from the commission. I'm confused. I don't know what you're talking about. Let me know. I have no idea what you mean. Maybe I missed a comment. If I have, my apologies. Chris, did you hit every prediction? You suck. No. I when I was writing for Bleacher full time and writing full time, honestly, I hated the prediction pieces. I would get asked to do it, and I'm like, I hate prediction pieces. I mean, mostly because it's like a lot of the stuff is just so hard to get, so hard to nail. You know what I mean? Can you see my futon in the background? Oh, it disappeared. Jim says, I finally got TBS and got to watch AEW for the first time this week. Wow. I want everyone to read Jim's comment, and I want everyone to publicly acknowledge Jim Anderson. Mr. Anderson. Everyone acknowledge Jim Anderson, because I want you to read what he wrote at the end. I'm an open-minded WWE guy. Jim, well done. Thoroughly impressed. Thoroughly impressed. Good for you and well done. That's what we call, kids, being a man, being an adult. Open-minded. Good for you. Good for you. Oh, I see. My bad, dude. It's been a long week. It's been a long week. Thank God it's Friday. CRP says we're all pretty much on the same page outside of the main event. Yeah, I think Phil and I both said it was entirely possible that Daniel Bryan beats him. Vic says, talking about young champions, Roxanne Perez, 21 years old. Yeah, right? Doesn't it just make you sick? Doesn't it just make you sick that someone can be so young and be talented like that? Yeah, same here. Same here. Youngins out there. What's going on in this world? Kidding me? Young people. I love the young people. Isn't that from The Simpsons? I think that's from The Simpsons. If someone just popped on the second I said that, they're like, oh, I'm turning this. Grandpa over here. That's all good. Jumper Jeff says, I believe if I wasn't working only evening shifts, I probably would watch both WWE and AEW. All right. Good. Hey, man, thanks for hanging out, brother. Thanks for hanging out. I know what it's like to be a blue collar working man. It's the first time in my life I've ever had a remote position where I could work from home or work from an office and not have to physically kill myself anymore. But as a result of that, your boys put on weight. So I go to the gym. I'm trying to go 4 times a week now to hit the treadmill and get myself physically active again. Will says, why are tickets for AEW so expensive? Brother, have you been to a WWE show lately? They're expensive everywhere for everything, honestly. Depends on the seats. Depends on what show. Pay-per-views are always more expensive. It's how it rolls. How they roll. It's how every company rolls. And look, I get it, man. Inflation is inflation. You don't see me going to a lot of live pro. The last live pro wrestling show I went to was Battle of the Belts. Anytime AEW comes from Charlotte, I'm there. Because here's why. Because it's an hour from me. Charlotte's an hour from me. So, like, you know what I mean? Now, if you talk about other states, if it's a drive or a plane ride, you know, sometimes I really can't swing that. But if it's an hour drive, I got that, man. It's not a problem. I have, Vic. I'm a fan of the new ROH. I think that the company, I think AEW and Tony Khan's doing an exemplary job. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. But nothing I watch is. Not to me, right? And define what perfect is anyway. It's all perfect. Perfection is subjective. That's a t-shirt. Perfection is subjective. It's whatever makes you happy, baby. Whatever gets you out of bed in the morning, whatever gets you through the night. It's the truth, man. For as much stuff as I enjoy watching, the next guy would laugh at it or put it down or crap on it. So, yeah. I don't have a lot on the agenda today. But there is something. In fact, now that you mentioned the new ROH show, I want to get your viewpoint. How many people here watched Ring of Honor before it went under or, was sold? Did any of you guys actually watch Ring of Honor? Did you follow it? Did you guys have Honor Club? I had Honor Club. And I was told, well, Tom, that'll carry over. It did not carry over. I had to re-sign up, which is not a problem. Because I'm not going to not watch it. I mean, I got New Japan. I've had New Japan World for a few years now, and I effing love it. Impact's like the only stream. I don't have Impact. I used to have IWTV. The problem was I was having issues streaming some of the content. Not all of it, but some of it. And there's so much to plow through. It's not an excuse to get rid of a channel. But at the time, I was like, I don't know if I'm watching this enough. Do you know what I'm saying? I may pick it back up at some point. David Down Under, how are you, my friend? Good to see you. Yeah, Ray called it Blackpool Combat Club turning heel. What do you guys think about that? Here's a problem I have, and I want you guys to tell me if you agree. My problem with BCC turning heel, and Mox in particular, you're going to have John Moxley as a top heel in a company where the world champion is MJF, who is the top heel. First of all, how do you keep these two guys away from each other? They can do it. It's not in the world. It's not impossible. But how are you going to keep them away from each other? That's number one. And number two, why are we turning John Moxley? Why are we turning Claudio? Why are we turning Wheeler? And I hope that this was just an aberration, because I don't want them to be heel. Because in the right situation, if Punk was there and Punk was the world champion or number two as a baby face, and you turn Mox in the BCC, then okay, it's fine, right? Because you could say, Punk, Hangman, Jungle Boy, who else are we talking about? Wardlow to some extent. I'm thinking about top baby faces, right? Top guys, top baby faces, right? Kenny Omega, I guess. Danielson. Does Danielson turn with the BCC? See what I'm saying? It just feels, I don't know if I'm down with this, man. I don't know if I'm down with this. Ray, come on, man. Cut Orange Cassidy some slack, dude. Orange is very good, dude. I mean, Orange Cassidy doesn't get enough credit for just how good he is in the ring. We say he does, and then people, turn on him and stuff. Ray, this new show with Adam Cole at the center of it, or included, and Britt's included. I got something to say about this. This didn't come up last week. It did, but we didn't really touch on it too much. I'm not trying to sound the alarm or push too many buttons or get anybody freaking out when I say this, okay? But here's my opinion. I think this is bad for business. I think peeling back the curtain to a certain degree is fine. But did you see the previews for this thing? They're talking about Thunder Rosa, about how all these storylines are on hold because she's not here. What are we doing? What are we doing right now? You know what I mean? It's odd, isn't it? I think it's too much. Now, for all I know, this thing will do well in ratings. People will love it, and they'll applaud it for how real it is. And I'm not with it. But that's me. They didn't call me to see what I think. Funny, Tony never calls me to get my opinion. Isn't that weird? So, I don't care. At the end of the day, I don't care. But at the same time, in my opinion, I don't think this is smart. That's me talking. I just don't think this is smart. I think you're showing too much. Ray says the show is too much. I 100% agree, dude. 100% agree. It's too much. Let's see what else we got going on. So, yeah, I wanted to talk about the Ring of Honor stuff and get your guys' take and see what you thought about it. I don't have a lot on the agenda today. Let's run through a few headlines here before we really get cranking. or in other words, we open the floor. I'm telling you guys, it's been a long week. What have I told you? Be patient with me for just a scooch, kids. All right, so let's talk about headlines. Headlines right now, we know what's going on. You know, Jey Uso was given the choice. You better turn on that dude or else. You better turn on it or else. Hell's coming with me. You hear? Hell's coming with me, right? So he turned. And there's like people speculating that it's not a turn. It's a swerve. And that he's going to turn on Jimmy at WrestleMania. And he's going to turn on Roman. I'm like, I think I like the way this is going just fine. However, if they throw that turn in, I think that would be fine too. Paul Heyman's writing this. So, yeah, I'm down. As long as Paul Heyman's hands are on this, and you can tell they are, I'm a fan of this stuff, man. I think it's really good. Taya Valkyrie supposedly going to AEW or WWE. That broke, I think, was it today or yesterday? It's already broke. So, yeah, we will see what happens. So, supposedly, she's likely going to either AEW or WWE, whichever promotion next destination is. It's supposed to be made clear within a short period of time. So, if that's the case, then she's probably free to talk to whoever, free to sign with whoever. So, there you go. AEW is, at this moment, supposedly working to re-sign the Elite to new long-term contracts. I don't imagine they'll never say never, right? But supposedly they're not going anywhere anytime soon, and I would be shocked if they did. So it is what it is. Don't tell me anything about the New Japan Cup. I'm so far behind on New Japan. It is effing insane, okay? We've got an interesting match happening next week. Let's see. BCC versus Hangman Page in Dark Order for Dynamite next week. That's going to be fun to watch. Again, what's happening with this stuff with the BCC? Who knows? Did you see the pics of John Cena at the Nightmare Factory? That was cool. And people giving him props for this. I get it. But at the same time, you know, John Cena is only human here, right? He's still a wrestling fan. Like, let's cut him some slack here. You know what I mean? As we know, if you watch the Ring of Honor TV this week, you know that Mark Briscoe is set to face Samoa Joe at the next Ring of Honor event. So that'll be interesting to see. And can't wait to see that, actually. Man, did you hear the crowd pop when Mark came out? Really, really good stuff. Really good stuff. Yep, you're right. Ty heading to AEW for Jade. Ooh. Jade Cargill contracts finished. I think Valkyrie could be the one to take it from Jade. Let's see. Ray says you like Hobbs or QT Marshall. Yeah, why not? Listen, Marshall, whatever. QT busts his hump behind the scenes. He's pretty valuable to that company, and he's good. He's a good character. Is he Dusty Rhodes on the mic? No. Is he The Rock in the ring? No. But at the same time, he's a good little character, and he's smart, and he's training guys and gals. Give him this. He can do it. You know what I mean? I think we'll all be talking in a week or so about, man, QT's killing it with this Hobbs stuff. I really think he'll kill it. Fix says, no way was Jay going to turn. Oh, not just his brother, but his twin. Yeah. Yep. Carlos says, yes, she's probably going to face Jade next week. That'll be interesting. Chad T-Bass says, story I heard was that Jay will turn on Roman. The stuff now is a ploy. It could be. That's what we said, man. It could be a swerve. Jess says, I'm actually more pumped to go see the House of Black and MJF than I am the Winnipeg guys. House of Black, dude. Are you kidding me? I'm trying to think if I've seen the House of Black together. I don't think I have. I've seen Brody King a few times when he's with Ring of Honor with Villain Enterprises tagging with PCO. Those were some fun matches. Ron says QT is a fantastic asset. I very much agree. Very much agree. Tom, what Jay White going to do? Your opinion? I've heard WWE. Look, I said on the show here, I'm not crazy about the thoughts of Jay White going to WWE because I believe they'll make him into something that he's not, and that they will in the long run perhaps lessen his value. They've done it before. Don't anybody come to me and tell me that they don't do it, because we know they've done it a lot. They'll lessen his value. They'll lower his stock. Now, I may be wrong. I never speak in absolutes, and anybody that's ever listened or watched me through the years knows I never speak in absolutes. It'd be crazy to do it. And if anybody speaks in absolutes, you're an effing moron. Don't ever do it. It's ridiculous. Okay? Because no one knows anything. No one knows anything, baby. Anything could change at drop of a hat. Like that. It's over. You know what I mean? So no. But I said on the show when all this came about, excuse me, if he's happy and they're giving him a good spot and the creative looks and sounds good and he's going to make some bank, sign it. You can say you've got WWE on your resume. Doesn't mean you got to stay for 30 years. Doesn't mean you got to stay for 5. Right? But like, I'd go. If I were him, I'd do it. It's uncharted territory. Plus, it's a challenge for him. Again, do I want to see him there? Not especially. No, I don't. But, you know, after you've done everything in New Japan twice, after you've done, you know, you're either going to go conquer AEW or you're going to go be a part of WWE. It's your choice. It's your choice. What I think of Vince McMahon new look. I don't know what his new look is, to be honest with you. Brody King's a beast, 100%. I saw House of Black in Vegas. Did you see them like in a social setting, or did you see them in at working a show? Because you said great guys. It makes me think you bumped into them somewhere. Liam says, what are your thoughts on Rollins and Paul for WrestleMania? I think Seth Rollins, speaking of undervalued, I think Seth Rollins' stock has dropped somewhat, and I don't think that they give Seth enough. I think they're giving him this Paul doofus. I said it. I don't care. They're giving him this Logan Paul doofus, and he's going to make that doofus look amazing. But at the same time, you know, I think Seth Rollins is much, much better than what he's been given to do. And honestly, I think Seth can take this character to any company he chooses to go to. Now, will he be a WWE lifer? Who knows? Who knows? Maybe, maybe not. But if he decided to leave at some point in time, that character could go with him, and he'd make a ton of money with it, baby. Imagine Seth doing that as Tyler Black, doing that character on the indie circuit. Are you kidding me? So good. Phil, there's no doubt. He's no doubt. You want to know why? Seth needed someone to work, and Omos was taken. I said it. Hey, Brock, good luck, pal. From your friends here at Tom Clark's Main Event. Brock's a pro, and Brock will be professional with Omos. But, baby, I'm here to tell you, if Omos slips up in that match, if there's a potato or two thrown, look out. Because it's going to get real. It's going to get real quick. Know what I mean? Wait for it. You'll see it. I called it. Don't y'all ever forget I called it. If it gets real and gets real quick, remember, holler at your boy, because I called it. We've got 18 minutes to the top of the hour. We'll go through a few of the things here before we open the floor. Yes, Powerhouse Hobbs is your new AEW TNT champion. People online having heartburn because people have heartburn about championships that aren't real. It's whatever to me. I like Hobbs a lot. I think his upside is tremendous. I think that WWE would have grabbed him a while back if they could have. They had an opportunity. And they left it sitting there and didn't give him. I think it was the story was they didn't give him a call back. Right? The moment he signs with WWE or AEW, of course, WWE's calling. He's like, no. You know what I mean? Good for him. Good for him, man. We know that Kofi Kingston is out right now. He's going to expected to miss 5 weeks. So we'll see how that all comes down. And again, as we said about Daniel Bryan earlier, or excuse me, my apologies, Bryan Danielson. We don't know what's happening with Bryan Danielson at this point. He says he's going to go home. I would assume that means he's going to take a break. AEW television will be missing him very, very much. Okay. So Ray leaving WWE, returning to Japan. Good for her. The time has come. She should. Yeah, she should. She absolutely should. The AEW All Atlantic Championship has now become the International Championship. That's right. They rebranded it. I'm not crazy about this. I thought All Atlantic sounded pretty darn cool. It was pretty darn fun. International just feels like international means, well, you defend it all over the world. Yeah, but don't you do that with a world title? Remember when they did WCW International or the NWA International Championship with the big gold belt and made it all like confusing? They gave it to Barry Windham. It was all weird. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Jeff says Hobbs TNT champ is good for business, good for the title. 100% agree. Vic says Judgment Day versus Legado del Fantasma tonight on SmackDown. Absolutely. Chad Too Bad says I don't mind Hobbs, just don't get having Wardlow lose right off the bat. I mean, I would say I think it was probably the plan all along, I suspect. But I think Hobbs earned it. Here's what I would say to that, Chad. In my opinion, Wardlow needed to beat Joe. When you introduce the element of the hair and the connection to his father, you needed to beat Joe. And do you have Hobbs beat Joe or do you have Hobbs beat Wardlow? Hobbs is heel. So if you want to keep characters the way characters should be as they're written in that company right now, or how they're produced or presented, I should say, how they're presented in that company, then you have heel versus face. You put the title on Will Hobbs. Kids, Chad Too Bad again has showed up. We've got two Chad. Chad, I've been calling Chad Shaver Chad Too Bad because both y'all are Chad Too Bad. Good to see you, my friend. Carlos says Tony has breaking news almost every week, and most time it's nothing big. Yeah, it's beating a dead horse. Just give it to the announcers. Tonight we're going to reveal some big news. Not breaking, but some big news. Just let Excalibur do it from the table, in my opinion. So FTW Championship at this time. Who was it Hook's having heat with? Somebody remind me. Stokely's guys, right? He still got heat with him, doesn't he? I'm trying to think of what happened last week on Rampage. Hook's got such upside, dude. Such upside. CRP says I kind of dig the new thing now because it's almost a gimmick. You're talking about the TNT title? Is that what you're talking about? Oh, the news thing, because it's kind of almost a gimmick. Yeah. Sky Blue needs to go to NXT, Chad says. No, she doesn't. Sky Blue could go to Impact. Sky Blue could go to Stardom. Sky Blue doesn't need to go to NXT. She can if she wants to. Victor says, I thought Statlander was coming back to beat Jade. Statlander's in Impact right now, so I don't know what we're doing there. All right, kids, guess what? We've got 13 minutes left. We're going to do what you all wanted to do, and Ray's going to be ready. We have opened the floor. Ray, I expect that question anytime, my friend. Anytime you're ready. Have you heard any word on Roxanne Perez after the throwback feint to 95? No, because we all know it's a work. There's too much stuff going on. Too much stuff going on in that ring for any of that to have been real. You guys know that. I know y'all know that. Ray says, here we go, kids. De La Soul or Public Enemy? Public Enemy. And part 2, Q-Tip or LL Cool J. I got to go Tip every time. And if Adam Cole invited you and your family to see Chris Rock and had an extra ticket, could I come as well and later want to get coffee and grits? Coffee and grits, I am so down with that. Absolutely. Did you like Chris's show? Because I really dug it. Dude, I saw some comments the next day from some African Americans on Twitter who were bashing Chris Rock and saying, I wish I had screenshot the tweets now because I'm going to get the wording wrong, the verbiage wrong, but something about how was it said that Chris takes shots at African Americans and the way he talks about certain people in the business and of Hollywood and like he's in the pocket for white guys or something. I can't remember what it was. And I'm like, I'm not African American, clearly, but like I don't get what are we talking about here? He's a comedian. What are we talking about? I don't know. I'm not the definitive answer for or the definitive source to consult on that. Vic says NXT is turning into Shawn Michaels' greatest hits. Isn't that something? Chris says breaking news, great mood is first inducted in the WWE Hall of Fame. So is that confirmed? Is that confirmed, kids? Because if so, my question is, why did it take this effing long, man? Why did it take this effing long? Right? Vic, I agree with you. Freedom. Yeah, I agree with you. You know, yeah. I mean, there's limits to everything, but no, I agree with you. I was having a conversation with my kid, and I've told my kid this stuff millions of times through the years, if I've told him once, and that is words will only hurt if you let them. Because I don't need him getting his feelings hurt because someone called him a name or insulted him or said he was stupid or whatever. And, you know, kids are horrible, horrible little creatures, devious little monsters who are terrible to each other. It's what they do. It's in their DNA, right? But like, I never need any other kid controlling my kid. And I won't be controlled by anybody. It's not going to happen ever. Okay. I've been in those relationships and they're horrible. Okay. Where you're being flat out being controlled. Not a fan of that. I'm my own man. And people use words to control. They use intimidation, these other things. But like, I just, you know, again, freedom of speech. What was it? From Two Live Crew. Someone give me the name from Two Live Crew. I was going to say lead singer, but that doesn't sound right. Who is it from Two Live Crew? Give me the name. Somebody hit me. You know the name. Give it to me. Can't remember his name. From Two Live Crew. It's making me nuts. Anyway, the Two Live Crew song, Freedom of Speech, or the album, Freedom of Speech. Just watch it. Luke, thank you. Luther Campbell. That's it. Freedom of speech. Just watch what you say. Which is true. But when the black guy says it, it's a problem. See? When the black guy says it, it's a problem. Not when the white guy said it. When the black guy said it. We're so civilized, aren't we? We're so with the times. We're so evolved. No, we're not. Every time you think that we are, turn on the channel, turn on the news. You'll see we're not. We're not evolved. We can be evolved as individuals and as a mindset and hopefully as a community, but we will never be evolved as a species. We're just never going to get there. And I'm not trying to be doomsayer. And I firmly believe my generation didn't get it right. The generation before me, no prayer. The guys before them, no chance. I believe, in my opinion, that my kids' generation has the possibility of getting this right. Will it happen? I don't know. Chris says that it's either Dave Bautista or Great Muta that they're considering for first spot, but both will go in this year. Bautista will have the first spot 100%. 100%. Chris says locked into Mania. They actually have storylines pretty much locked up since 2 months ago or so. That's crazy, isn't it? That never happens in that company. It could, but it doesn't. Rob says, here it is. Who's your Mount Rushmore of wrestlers whose real life story was more interesting or shocking to find out than the characters they were in the ring? You know what? Every time you watch my show, you never cease to amaze me with really, really good questions about the Mount Rushmore stuff. And every time I can't answer them because they're so good, it takes me time to think about them. I got to think about that. Whose real life stories are more interesting than the characters they portrayed. I mean, you could argue that some guys' life stories were as interesting as real life characters they portrayed. Gino Hernandez, maybe. Gino Hernandez would be one. I would guess. Ron says Mark Henry. Why do you say Mark Henry for that? Oh, in terms of more interesting, not the shocking bit, right? Yeah. In a positive manner, one person comes to mind is Booker T. Oh, dude, the stuff that Booker T ever came to get to where he is today, nuts, isn't it? Nuts. Robbie, I'm not trying to ignore you, my friend. It's hard for me. I'll let the audience answer. Chris says, watch SmackDown tonight too to see who gets number one spot for the Hall of Fame this year. Considering Great Muta or Dave, yeah. We just talked about that. Yeah, I would say Batista gets it. Yeah, story to greatness, Ron says. Yeah, I agree with that. Flair. You think Flair's real life is more interesting or shocking than his character? Because I disagree with that. I would think they're on par. Because the Ric Flair you see on TV is the Ric Flair you see in real life. And I'm going to be honest with you. Since the plane ride from hell story came back to the surface, Rick's been doing a lot of PR on social media anyway, and done everything in his power to get back in the good graces of fans. Another story for another time, man. I mean, has he recovered from that? I don't know. You could argue that he is. You could argue that he is. He'll always recover because he's Ric Flair. It's possible. He says Mount Rushmore of co-hosts on Main Event. Well, that won't be. I was going to say that won't be hard. I mean, you got Phil, obviously. You got Troy and James from the Untitled Wrestling Podcast. CRP's only been on with me twice, but it was fun, and I'm looking forward to recording with him again, actually. I like talking to smart people. I like talking to smart, sensible people. And Chris, I won't speak for you, but most of the time, that's women for me. Smart, sensible women who are wrestling fans, and even not just wrestling fans. They're the easiest people for me to talk to. No disrespect to the dudes here, but like if you put a room full of guys who are pro wrestling fans next to a room full of women who are pro wrestling fans, I'll walk into the room with women every time, because it's not about I'm right, you're wrong, you suck. It's about they'll listen to your point of view. I've had debates with female fans over the years. They've changed my mind on things, and I've changed theirs. Try doing that with a guy. I dare you. It's just how we're wired. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're horrible, but it's just how we're wired, dude. I've had much better interactions with female fans over the years than I do with male fans. But that's just me talking. Maybe other people don't feel that way. I just don't see there's not an inherent bias, because when you grow up with a product or with a company, with a form of entertainment, you feel like it's yours. We all do it. We all do it to a certain degree. Women, I don't know if women have that real heartfelt connection, not to the point where they would be screaming about it in your face. You know what I mean? Or flipping you off on Twitter, or cursing or typing curse words on Twitter, for God's sake, because they don't like what you said. Jeff says, can you change my wife's mind so she likes wrestling like me? No. Because your wife's looking at the wrestling you're watching going, what is this crap? Brother, you're on your own on that one. Chris says Mount Rushmore for announcers in wrestling. You talking about commentators at ringside? At ringside? Well, JR is on that. Gordon Soley's on that. You got to hit those two guys. I would say God, man, why am I will say Bob Caudle. I'm a huge Bob Caudle guy. Love me some Bob Caudle. I don't know how I don't pick Tony Schiavone. It's not Adam Cole for me. No disrespect. It's not Adam Cole for me. I I just never been a fan. No disrespect to him. I'm just not a huge fan of the way he calls matches, but that's me. And to be fair to Michael Cole, he's had someone screaming in his headset for 25 years. I mean, that's a big deal. You know what I mean? So, overly produced. Chris says, Bob the Brain, hard to argue with the Brain. He was good at everything he did. Alan says, Jake Snake Roberts, Dino Bravo, Gina Hernandez, Chris Adams. What are we talking about? What Mount Rushmore was that? CRP says, Peach of Power Bombs in general should be on the Mount Rushmore. Looking forward to doing more with you. It's all. Hey, man, same here, dude. Same here. Let's get you on the 6M, brother. It's so much more laid back. Not that this isn't laid back, right? But it's all audio. You don't have to put your face on or anything. Yeah. We'll have to set up a 6M, man. We'll pick a movie or whatever, and we'll just talk about it. If it falls under the 6M category, there you go. What about the ROH announcers? You like Ian Riccaboni's great. Ian Riccaboni is very good. He is smart, and he's very well spoken, and he gets excited at the right times. He can deliver. I was going to say deliver lines. I don't mean it that way. He can get his point across without screaming at you. You can feel like he feels it too. I think he's very good. Kevin Kelly is also very good at commentating. Kevin acknowledges other companies when he does New Japan's commentary. Makes you feel like he's one of you. He makes you feel like a really smart fan, and that the wrestling's real. You know what I mean? Or it's real in as much as these guys do have issues with each other, and that the pro wrestling match is a physical athletic competition. But then sometimes they have, they're selling their problems. It's what pro wrestling is meant to be, is the way he calls it. It's not sensationalism. It's not Howard Stern being an idiot. Kevin Kelly's not that guy. I really like Kevin Kelly. He's really good. Hey, Chris, I've always said I got a face made for radio. Face made for radio. He says Mount Rushmore of Intercontinental Champions. You'd have to say Kurt Hennig's on there. Kurt Hennig's definitely on there. Jericho, perhaps Chris Jericho, you'd have to say. Man, that's a tough one. Tough because there's been so many. Man, that's tough. That's tough. I have not done a 6M on the Boondock Saints, and I'm going to be honest with you, I've never gotten into it. Never gotten into it. Wait a minute. No, never gotten into it. Have I? No. I've always heard good things about it. Just never checked it out. Isn't that crazy? I need to. Randy Savage, Honky Tonk Man. Savage for sure. Honky Tonk Man. I mean, I get it. I get why he would be included. I get why he would be there. Scott Hall, Ricardo says. Yeah. I like Scott Hall, man. Well, guess what, kids? We're coming to the end. Ross says, fix that. I really need to, right? Didn't they make two? I am getting it right? That's the one with don't give me his name. Daryl from The Walking Dead. Don't give me his name. I'm not going to look. Don't no one tell me. I don't want to Google it. I don't like to Google stuff. You know what I mean? This moment of uncertainty brought to you by Tom Clark's Main Event. Oh, it's making me nuts. It's making me nuts. Someone give it to me. Daryl from Walking Dead. It'll kill me when I see it. Ricky the Dragon for IC champ. Excellent call, Will. Excellent call. Vic says Mount Rushmore of IC champs. Norman Reedus. My God in heaven. How did I forget that? I follow the guy on all of his socials. Dang, dude. Crap. Vic says Mount Rushmore of IC champs. Razor Ramon, Chris Jericho, Shawn Michaels, Dolph Ziggler. Excellent list. Yeah, Norman Reedus. Dude, what? Come on. What? Whew. All right. Well, kids, guess what? We're getting ready to take this thing home. I'm going to go enjoy my weekend. As I said, it's been a long week. It's been a productive week. It's been a good week. I got no complaints. I never have any complaints. Life is good, my friends. Life is good. Today is not a good day. It's a great day. Tell all your friends. I live by that. I'm living by that. Okay. I'm living by that. Don't everybody forget that. Don't anybody forget that. You get it, don't you? Thanks again for watching, kids. It means loads to me. I do very much appreciate it. Again, this has been episode number 301. If you are not subscribing to Tom Clark's Main Event, you're doing life wrong. Subscribe to the show on all the major platforms. You're only going to see it live in video as it happens here. You can catch the video replay, of course, on Facebook if you want to. And it's also uploaded to YouTube at the same time. We go live on both channels. You can catch it there. If you want just the audio version, subscribe on every major platform, podcast platform, you'll find us. And also check out Tom Clark's 6M podcast, movies, music, Marvel, magazines, miniseries, and more, okay? We cover everything on that podcast you could possibly think of. We just did an episode on Cody Rhodes, actually. And spoiler alert, that's going to be the episode I put out this coming Tuesday is the Cody Rhodes episode. It's timely. It's current. We're going to put that out. So that's pretty cool. This past week, we actually put out Iron Man 3. So you can see how big of a widespread, we got movie reviews, music, album reviews. We talk about bands, actors, musicians. We talk about comic books. We talk about comic characters, graphic novels, miniseries. Like we talk about films, of course, streaming series on the streaming services. Dude, we talk about everything. If it falls under the 6M category, we're doing it. So please, if everyone here would go subscribe today, Tom Clark 6M podcast. You can see the bottom, kids. You can see the ticker. It means loads to me. It is on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Audible, Spotify, and YouTube. So go check it out, please and thank you. SoundCloud is the only place we're not with, okay? Because the service I use to upload the shows, for some reason, like SoundCloud, you have to have like a paid subscription in order to load up or something. Like I'm not doing that. So it is what it is. We need to do Creed, Vic. I haven't even done the first Creed yet. I haven't even done a Rocky movie. Can you believe we've never done a Rocky movie? I've never done a Rocky movie. Thank you, Chris. Thanks everybody for watching. I'm rambling. My apologies. Let's get out of here. Everybody have a great weekend. All right. We'll see you. Where's my hand? There she is. We'll see you next week. Okay. Appreciate it very much. Main event.